morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, welcome to WSTX AM 970 on your AM dial, folks. Yes. And if you ain't got dial, just remember 970 AM. All right, maybe you want them fancy card I got down on the screen and there you program in the number, just 970 AM. All right, good thing. No dial, just electronics. Hey, no problem. We work with you. Okay? So, yeah. And I got my good friend and co-host here in the house with us. Good morning, Jared.
Good morning, Doug.
How you doing?
I'm just great, fantastic, wonderful, all that jazz.
I'm going to sue you, you know. It's time to use my word there, man. Check it out.
So me? You ain't copyrighted, so.
Oh, okay. You see now? You're hanging wrong attorneys and things ain't fancy. Okay. All right. I check it out.
Well, you can sue, you know. I like money, so I guess slap sue.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, how was your week, John?
It was trying.
Trying?
Yeah.
Not doing? Only trying?
It was trying. You gotta try your patience. You know, but I bite my tongue and overcome the trial.
So when they try your patience, they don't do like a survey report afterward to tell how they like your patience?
I don't know. I don't know if they did, but I don't think they're gonna tell. I wanted to tell them a few choice words.
Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of you, Jared. You took the high road. My goodness. I tell you, you was in the middle?
Yeah.
You just don't get run over, that's all. Oh, Lordy me.
You know, you have the overpass, and then you have the one that go between the overpass and the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, and the one between.
Between?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't on the overpass.
All right. The high road is good. It's smooth. No potholes. Okay? When you get out the high road, that's where you start hitting the pothole.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Lordy.
Well, good morning, people, and welcome to WSTX AM 970, your community-minded station. You're listening to talk show Reflections
Okay.
with Doug Canton and Gerard Evelyn. The number to call to get it is 340 773 0390 340 773 0490. I must give up my number.
Yeah. All right. Okay. When I hear you married off, I know what happened. Okay.
You
Okay.
need to stop that.
When you give out your number, brother, next thing I know, they looking in them brown eyes and they getting captivated and you know they say, hey, you know, and next thing I hear, Lord, if you got special tree out there for Gerard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking
But
about.
anyway, good morning, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, Water Island, Tortola, if you're hearing us, down the Caribbean, good morning around the United States, around the globe. And good morning to my girls down in the West, Danny and Emmy and KJ and everybody. Good morning. Hope you guys having a good day today.
All right, yeah. Well, I go.
Well, morning to my big sis, because I know she.
I was just watching the cough coming.
No. I gotta leave the best for last.
Oh, okay.
That's my cheerleader.
All right. Okay. So anyhow, yeah, I go all the way up to Canada and all the way down under Australia. People all over the place, family all over the place. Yeah. So, anyhow, my week was eventful and uneventful. A lot of stuff around the yard got accomplished. I just got in that groove. Transportation was kind of up and down, but now that that's kind of smooth out, it means that I can be that much more effective in some other regards also. So, looking forward to this week and next week in terms of things to do. But you plan for life and life does plan for you. So, take it one day at a time, literally, and see how it goes. Yeah. Well, of course, the hottest topic out there right now is this legislative session that they had with regards to the raises and the rescinding of raises and all this other good stuff, right? I know you probably heard about it. For all I know, you probably saw the session in person, as connected as you are. Yes, and who is you? All right. Well, whoever you are, the hat is there to put on. But anyhow, one of the things that I talked about a little bit last week, and I'm just going to go back there again, because everybody is all emotionally riled up. And you might be missing the point, an important point. The law that allowed for this commission was created by the legislature, not by the governor. The governor literally cannot give himself a raise. So the legislature put this process in place. And I guess what we're seeing is that it wasn't as well thought out as it needed to be. All right? But I just put in responsibility where responsibility is. Because for those of you who like melee and watch the governor responding about tell the truth and all this other stuff, well, he has a point. The legislature created the law. The legislature is the one who set it up to work how it worked, and it worked. And now it's convenient to them to make him the devil for political gain. Let's be fair, let's be straight up, call a spade, okay? But I am saying what I'm saying because people, they're trying to play you, get you all emotionally riled up. I mean, you don't have to like or dislike the governor. That's your business. Okay? But when people playing you, unless that's how you don't get your kicks, you like being played, the first step is to understand the game and protect yourself right now. Yes. So, just want you to remember that. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the laws creating the EDC benefits. The law created the EDC benefits, and if there are no guardrails that says that a recipient can't do this or a recipient can't do that without being in breach of their agreement, in the absence of there being something written in law like that, then they could do it. Now, whether it's wise to do it or unwise or fair or unfair, that's a whole other story. But they got lawyers for a reason. So now, once they pass this law, very often laws have a situation where you have to create rules and regulations. And those rules and regulations, ultimately, as approved, is what the institution, in this case the EDA, or whatever, have to work by. But the bottom line is that what happened to those employees and those positions at what was via Now One Communications have everything to do with how the law was crafted and whatever rules and regulations were put in place at the agency. Right? So, One Communications did what it did, but you need to understand that you don't need to make them into the devil and this and that, because then you're playing right into the game that the people who's supposed to be responsible to you about what the law did All right? I'm getting you all emotional. So you ain't even seeing what really going on. Okay? Now, bring it home. Our folks in Frederickstead there, the old hospital. The old hospital in Frederickstead was leased to the Ingeborg Nesbitt Clinic / Frederickstead Healthcare Inc. Okay? And the idea was that they could use the federal dollars to fix up that building, which they could have used those dollars to do that. Why? Because once you have an ownership interest, and when I say ownership interest, control in a building, which is a lease. So we didn't give it away to Frederickstead Healthcare Inc. It was a lease. Right? But that lease was enough for the federal government to say, yes, you got control of this property. We don't mind giving you the money to invest in fixing up that property. All right? Now, yours truly set that up. Healthcare ain't no big business in Frederickstead, so it was at least like $1 a year. Man, them folks in Government House was pissed off. You know why? Because they like to get rock out a stone. If you get a grant for $20,000 and you need at least 18 to run the program, that leaves $2,000. The executive branch asking for $5,000 out of the grant for grant administration. No, check it out now. People in Frederickstead Healthcare Inc. and everything is who write the grant and set it up and get the money. Or whatever organization. But the government come in to get grant administration fees like that. Okay? So they were pissed off when this thing was set up that way to encourage healthcare expansion in Frederickstead. Now, there was a plan. The plan was a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Health so that they could have facility services in West too. Now, you might ask me, what Department of Health got to do with it? Well, let me break it down for you. Clinics were run by the Department of Health. And then the federal government changed up everything and said, you know what? We're not giving departments of health our money anymore. If you want to run clinics, they have to be privately run. This is why we have Frederickstead Healthcare Inc. Okay? They have to be privately run and we'll give the money to them. Now, mind you, this is 20 years ago that this all went down. Actually, maybe more than 20 years. Okay? That this all went down, that Frederickstead Healthcare Inc. would have been able to get the money to fix up that building from way back when. Alright? Now, Department of Health / the executive branch went and make a deal through another St. Croix senator to void the lease and bring it back and give it back to Department of Health. All the while, Department ain't got a pot to in or whatever in terms of money to do nothing with it. So 20 years later, there is the old hospital building looking the way it look. Okay? And people scheming behind closed doors to figure out how to turn the building over to a private entity. Alright? Our tongue Frederickstead, you paying attention or you part of it? Okay? Hey, Gerard, things has happened in this place. And people will be like, how that happen?
Because we are our own worst enemy.
Well, you know, This is the thing. It comes down to the electorate and how much they want to pay attention to what's going on. If they want to just put somebody in the office and go about their business and don't check them, things like this happen. Okay?
Well, you know what I said, right? Oh, I know he. Oh, that's my son. So friend, cousin.
Whatever the reason, the bottom line is if you ain't had enough pothole that you're tired of, okay? If you don't have enough of other programs, if you don't have enough of people doing work for the government and not getting paid, you don't have enough of those things. If you like it so, you know, what dog could do? What dog could do? Whine about it? Complain about it? No. I am not whining about it. I'm not complaining. I'm hopefully shining some light because I give 3 different situations here where the bottom line is your legislature did things that is against your/the community interests and trying to make it look like somebody else is the bad guy.
Well,
all right?
Somebody got to be the fall guy.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I know you don't set me up all the time. I don't get accustomed to it.
Me? Listen.
All right.
Look at the one thing we don't talk about all the time that I don't say the solution is a public-private partnership. And that is the Virgin Islands transit system.
I agree with you 1,000%.
It was there before. It was there before. They need to revisit that to bring it back to what it once was.
Mm-hmm.
It was there before.
Well,
I mean, I talk about it, and like how we like to say, we could talk about things, but we need to have solutions to what we talk about.
right.
And this is my solution. Anybody else have a solution out there, they're welcome to call.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know now, privatization is one of these things that can work well. Private partnerships / privatization can work well. Me personal, I like the water that they used to produce when they had the other system, the waste heat
The
boilers.
waste heat boilers, yeah, the water was better.
Okay, Gerard, when I pour water into my sink and I let it sit, after a while the water feels slimy. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
If I put soap in it, I mean, I ain't talking about soapy. I'm not talking about the effect of the soap. I'm talking that. Oh, and while I'm at it, just for the public's knowledge, right? There's a document called a MSDS. Now,
Material Safety Data Sheet.
Material Safety Data Sheet. And the chemicals that they use with reverse osmosis, you as the public have a right to know what those chemicals are and what that MSDS sheet says
True.
about those chemicals. Okay?
Yeah.
So we fight so hard for so long to get potable water here, there, and everywhere. And this is what we get in now. I said this. We don't even know what we get in. We really don't know. Before it was just water, maybe some rust and maybe a little bit of dirt, depending on whatever. But then we had no like that.
Yeah.
We don't know like that anymore.
Any chemical that's used in your house, because I was a pest control operator, pest control technician,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a binder in the vehicle that should you have a problem or need to know the product that I'm using, I had a copy of the material safety data sheet to give to you for you to read yourself. And it tells you the do's, the don'ts, the side effects, all that stuff is on the material safety data sheet.
Okay.
You understand?
So the key there is that people have to know.
Yes.
Now, when I was working at WAPA, they went and started doing some kind of work and using some kind of stuff, and they had to clear out everybody out the building. People started getting sick and nauseous and whatever else, right there in the Sunny Isle building.
Mhm.
Okay, and it was a big a big to do simply because they brought this stuff in and started using it, and nobody knew until they started seeing the side effects. And all of a sudden, WAPA got, back then, serious about MSDS and people knowing and having access to the MSDS. Okay? Now, I'm saying that if you don't know, you're just blindly following, going along. Okay? In America, folks, and looking at the Virgin Islands part of America, okay?
Right. But
it's illegal to kill you quick. Okay? It's illegal to kill you quick. If they pull out a gun, pow, take you out. It's illegal.
wait, illegal to kill you slower.
But it's legal to kill you slower. Okay?
Right.
They'll put the chemical plants in your neighborhood, and all the stuff go up in the air, and you're breathing it, and your children having problems. I'm talking about real life thing that's going on. Okay? The ground poison and everything else, and getting into the plants and everything else, going into the fish. Right. So
Like how the
it's
oil gets
our
into our aquifer.
how the oil get into our aquifers. It's our responsibility to guard our environment, to make sure that these kind of things don't happen. No, you don't see dog going around the place and hugging every tree he see. You know? So it ain't like that. It's just basic what we proverbial call common sense, that you ain't gonna go and take a cup of oil and drink it like you're drinking water. Okay? You ain't gonna go and take ammonia and drink it. You ain't gonna listen to that man who had said about injecting Clorox and all this other stuff, right? I mean,
Lord help us.
okay? anyhow,
You know, when you're using products, right?
mm-hmm.
The product have a label that the container have on it. Okay? And it's they always say, and they teach you when, especially when you become a certified technician, because to become a certified technician, you have to go to UBI and take classes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And they always teach you to read that label. Even if you're using this product every day, read that label every day. Okay? Because you might miss something, you might forget something. Read that label every day before you apply that product wherever you're going to apply it.
Well, I'm gonna put a twist on that, Gerard.
And wait.
When you're done.
And had they done that,
Mm-hmm.
you remember it had a fiasco happen a few years ago in St. John?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you know I was certified in using that same product here in the Virgin Islands? Okay? And I used it for years and never had an issue.
Because
Okay.
you followed.
Because I followed the MS
DS
Yes.
guidelines. Yeah.
guidelines.
Okay.
Okay, when I use that product, nobody couldn't come within 50 feet of that structure, no matter how little bit I used.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I made sure whenever I'm using this thing, nobody at all in this building. And I tell management, everybody got to leave the building, they got to stay out there for 24 hours
Mm-hmm.
or more until I come back and check to make sure it's safe. Okay? But the individuals that got in problem did not do that.
Did not do that. Okay. Well, I'm going to put a spin on the conversation here we're talking about, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I am a breastfed baby, okay? And I remember that Department of Health had a ad in it that breastfed is best fed,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And not that I could have read when I was, enjoying them days, right? Okay?
Yeah, no
the
label
food,
on
food
that.
was good, but it had no label on it. It had no label. All right? But how does this tie into everything? Everybody, okay, Doc. Yeah, you out yourself. Breastfed is best fed, and you are best fed baby. Okay. Yes. So I confess I had an addiction. Okay, Doug was addicted. Okay, and he refused to go to rehab. Okay. Yes. Doug was had a milk addiction, and I tell you, whether with cornflakes by itself, whatever. Okay. Anyhow, fast forward now. The big baby. The big baby and the milk, right? So, Gerard, had this problem pop up, let's say about a year ago. I had this itching start up on my hand, okay, and on my shins, go almost down to my ankle. I mean, at one point, Gerard, it had looked like I was using some kind of fake bleaching cream because I had looked pinky with all this calamine lotion I had on my hand and legs, okay? To deal with that itching. I tried cortisone, I tried this, I tried that. Then one day, by chance, I look at the label on the milk carton. And it had a statement on there that there's no evidence that there's any difference between milk from genetically modified cows or this, that, and the other. And just, boom, this thing went off in my mind. I said, okay, let me try a thing. Let me go cold turkey on the milk. I'm still struggling. Okay, so I went cold turkey. And guess what?
What?
The itching stopped.
Okay.
It's between chemicals and the playing around with these genetics. Between those two, I don't have to be a rocket scientist. I can put 1 + 1 and get 11 or 2, depending on how you want to look at it, right? Or if we want to do binary, okay, that's a whole other story. But anyhow, the bottom line is I was able to establish a causal connection with what was happening with me and what the in the milk containers. Right? So, I continue the cold turkey struggle. But
just get some almond milk, man.
Well, but a day milk. That's just called that. But anyhow.
Yeah, but it tastes good. I use it.
I tell you what, it tastes good, brother. You know? It's like this, okay?
You're struggling with one milk, right? I give you an option.
By I show you how.
I give you a veggie option.
I am showing you how, okay, it is, we don't talk about rehab, but it's a difficult process.
Yeah, but you see, I giving you a veggie option.
I understand that, Gerard. Okay, it's like people who've been smoking and they didn't realize that their body was gonna flip to require nicotine. Okay, I feel for those folks when they go cold turkey and they say they don't do it no more. They crave it. Okay, so I just tell you it's rough. Okay, anyhow.
Yeah, I know it's rough.
So much for being
I got my cravings.
A breastfed baby that got addicted in the process, okay? So much for that.
So much for that. Once again, people, the number to call is 340-773-0490, 773-0390. That's the number to call to get in on the conversation or to tell us what's on your mind and to give us a solution to what you have on your mind.
Okay. Now, I just want to reiterate that whole conversation, humor aside, is, folks, you have to think and you have to act on what you learn. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And if I help you in some way to know something you didn't know before, that's going to be beneficial and important to you from a health perspective in this case, then hey, do what you got to do. All right?
I hope people planting in because it's harvest time coming up. And them Florida farmers done complaining.
Oh, yeah.
They ain't got nobody to pick the harvest.
Yeah, and they gonna get it done, and they gonna come in lesser numbers and higher prices. That's it. Not to mention the fact that they're gonna raise prices anyhow because
The tariffs.
they riding the wave, so
The
to
tariff
speak. The
wave.
tariff, yeah.
Tariff waves.
Even when it don't apply, even when the only
Listen.
time it does the cost of gas go down. It take a while before supposedly they empty out the tank so they can run.
You know I don't get, Doug.
Mm.
You know I don't get.
Mm.
People are trying to say that we, the people, the United States, gonna make money off of the tariffs,
Oh Lord.
and this is what I don't get. Anybody that have a brain knows that tariffs are the tax on the American people, because we, the American people, have to pay the higher prices.
Mhm.
So then, they're right. They're gonna make money off of the American people, because the other countries don't pay the tariffs.
Right.
You know,
Can I jump in with that one?
sure.
Yeah. When a car is brought to the United States for $20,000, and I'll just use that as a number. Okay. For the people who sell the car here in the United States to sell that $20,000 car, when it have let's say a $5,000 tariff on it, what the tariff is end up being $5,000, right? The people who bring in the car in have to pay the $5,000 to bring the car in. Not the other country manufacturer out the country and everything else. The American distributor have to pay that $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you think he gonna sell you that car without adding that $5,000 onto the price?
He ain't gonna eat that $5,000.
No.
You gonna eat it?
Right. So the government going to get the $5,000. Now, again, know what you don't know, or at least maybe possibly be wise about what you know and don't know that you can learn. Okay? Because what is our federal government doing with money right now? We have a budget in there that says we ain't giving none to Medicaid, we ditching Head Start, we cutting back veterans, we definitely ain't doing nothing for mental health, but we want to make sure all the billionaires get this big tax break. So, you could quell, carry on, say that ain't fair, whatever. This is what we gonna do if we get the chance. And so they taking the chance now. Okay? So this $5,000 that came in, that goes into the federal coffers. When they taking everything from the federal coffers and putting it toward these big tax breaks for the businesses, that they lie to us and tell us not going to drive up the deficit. Okay? They're trying to tell us what they think we want to hear to feel comfortable. So if you're there on the bed and you're bleeding out and somebody holding your hand and tapping your hand and says it's going to be all right, you're going to be fine. But you're there bleeding out and they tapping you and saying it's all right, you're going to be fine. But you're there bleeding out, but they tapping your hand and saying it's all right, you're going to be fine. All right? Now, the first time you there in the room and you observing this happen,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And then you see it happen again, and you see it, and then when you get seriously injured, you go into the hospital.
No, sir.
So, now we see the hypocrisy because everything was about small government and small this and small that. Every time these people get in charge, it's all about big business profit, and cutting from the little guy. No, I don't want to get into party politics. I want to get into what it is they do. I don't care what they say. I want to deal with what they do. And this is what's being done. So I am with you, Gerard, because we just have this saying, you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, unless there's something wrong upstairs. Okay?
That is so true.
All right? And so, if they tell you they ain't going to touch Medicaid, but they touch it. They tell you they ain't going to touch Medicare, but when the deficit reveal itself, there's a clause in the law that makes them able to even go in and cut back automatically Medicare. So for those of them who somehow feel safe, it's like, don't you understand? You're bleeding out, and they're holding your hand and tapping your hand and telling you you're going to be all right. Now, the icing on the cake, Gerard. Okay, because all of these Republicans in particular fearful for the job now when they come in election, because they're sticking it to the people, and so they afraid that it's going to come back to them. They set up these cuts to take effect after the election, the next election, the midterm election. Okay? So you ain't going to feel it. Medicaid ain't going to disappear, and you're going to feel it's okay, and I say, oh, my representative is okay, man. He voted for this bill, but nothing bad happened to me, and he's saying it's going to be all right, so it's going to be fine. I'm going to go and get he and she a vote again. Right? And then after the election is when these things take effect. All right? These people are scheming, conniving, inventful, people, whatever. And I'm just saying this, saying this to say there's bad people, nice people, any kind of people. I'm just saying you need to know what you don't know. Exactly. And act accordingly.
Yeah. People watch C-SPAN. People watch C-SPAN. Watch what's going on in Washington. Watch C-SPAN. Look at what
you know what I think is so unfair? What I think is so unfair? For a person who's went through the process to become a U.S. citizen or a naturalized or to get a green card, or whatever the case may be, and they're following all the rules and regulations to do it, and they show up for a necessary hearing to determine if they're in full compliance, and they get arrested and deported. I mean, that is just...
I know some... Do you think that's bad?
No, but I'm just saying, these things are just like in your face, telling you, after you said, well, our priority going to be the criminals or this or that and the other, to see people who innocently followed the process and do what they're supposed to do. And then bram. Okay? You see the lady, a nurse, 50 years in America on her green card, and she spent 30 days in ICE detention, and the judge had to say she's not eligible to be deported. Okay? Right. But 30 days, her freedom was restricted.
Well, listen, I know somebody here, right here in Edward House, when they went to try to contact Social Security online, Social Security tell them they're not a citizen, they have to go into the office. Okay? They are a naturalized citizen. So they had to go into the office here with all the paperwork to show them. Okay?
Okay. Well, that was Doge and them and their game that they were playing. You see, the bottom line is they do not have enough money to be able to extend these tax benefits, and everything they're doing, from sending people home to cutting back agencies, all of it is about cobbling up enough money to do this thing. Anyhow, enough on that. If you want to know more, go and watch CNN and Fox and whoever else.
Watch C-SPAN.
C-SPAN, yeah, C-SPAN. Okay, because I take that back. Don't watch Fox. Fox already told us that they aren't news, that they are entertainment, whatever. They could say whatever they want to say. Okay, Doug didn't say that. The quote is there. When the man was there in front of the judge and the jury, and he said, we can't be held to this standard because we're not a news organization. This is an entertainment organization. Yep. We're not the place that people supposed to go thinking that they're going to get the truth or factual reporting.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
and
guy Rupert Murdoch.
Rupert Murdoch. And my thing is, if he tell you this, and people still like they're like drones going to watch it,
Listen,
hey, let them have what they want to have.
when I was watching the deposition, I almost fall on the floor. I said, really? And people trying to say other things is fake news. And this man said, and I quote, anybody who goes to Fox News for news need to have the head examined. He said because his network does not offer news. They offer entertainment and opinions. Close quotation. This is what the CEO of
The
Fox
owner.
News, the owner, said this. Okay?
Under oath.
Under oath.
Under oath.
Under oath. The man says so under oath in front of a judge.
And folks
Okay.
still acting like they don't believe.
And people again like, I said, well, oh wait, really? So when I hear people talk about, oh, they watch Fox News. Because all them others is fake news. I was like, yeah, okay. You don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know, you can't help yourself. You know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous, but it's real.
You know, and all those other what I call it, right wing propaganda networks out there that people will be watching and trying to come and stuff the crap down your throat like it's real news they're getting. I'd be like, nah. I say you need to check yourself, brother. You know?
Yeah, well, the thing is, and I don't want to dwell on that any further, really. The thing is that we, the people, have the power, and we have to recognize that the world around us is trying to condition us to think that we're helpless. But it means that you have to think different, and you have to project different, teach your children different, because that's how change will come about. If you want a change, if you're happy with it how it is, then enjoy your nirvana. But
part of the problem is we have too much sheeples. We have too much sheeples. You know you lead the sheep to slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a call here on line 2. Okay.
Nest.
Good morning, WSTX.
Hi, good morning. This is your third co-host.
Hey, Mr. Hanun.
Fine, gentlemen.
Top of the morning to you.
All right, brother. To you too, man. You guys hitting on a good topic, You're talking about taco.
Oh, we ain't call no name.
The thing of it is, I like tacos, and I think that the product tacos should file a suit.
Yeah.
because
a taco is a tasty thing.
Everybody know when it got taco and it's orange thing in it.
You know I don't want no more Mexican food.
But you guys don't understand we're going to a dictator country?
If we don't understand, brother.
Yeah, we are with Donald Trump. What's he doing? We're going to be a dictator.
Well,
country.
I would be broadcasting out of Barbados soon. Because I can move out of the country and go to Barbados.
That's the best thing, because he telling universities what they could do, what they can't do, who they could teach, who they can't teach, and everything.
Well,
The other day, he had a parade of the Jewish doing for the settlers and the what you call them, people who hostage. This Egyptian guy came there with a them grenade and everything, and he threw it. Now they said Donald Trump have a restriction on 7 countries, but he didn't, and he says about the anti-Semitic and everything, but he didn't say nothing about the guy who come from Egypt. He didn't say nothing about Egypt.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna tell you, right?
Uh-huh.
It's sad. It's sad, first of all, that happened.
Yes, it's true. Yes,
It's sad, first of all, that happened.
Correct.
You know, two wrongs don't make a right. You know,
Correct.
Doug Canton will never be a Hamas supporter. You know, I don't.
Well,
No, let me finish. Let me finish.
I know.
Doug Canton will
Okay.
never be a Hamas supporter,
Supporter.
and
Right.
and and I have nothing in the way of a personal feeling against people of the Jewish faith. All right,
Correct. Okay.
but and so now that that is out of the way, all right. Not
Mm-hmm.
all governments are honest. Not all governments are corrupt,
Right.
and not all governments are free of dishonesty, and not all governments are free of corruption. Okay, I just know that people are doing irrational things like that guy, because it's irrational what he did, because it's not
Well,
what he did is not going to free Palestine,
it's true.
right?
It's true. It's true. It's
Okay,
gonna make it worse.
it's just going to make it worse. It's just like
Correct.
it just like the Palestinians should be pissed off with Hamas because they sure enough take things in the wrong direction. If you understand what I'm saying, 55,000 people, of which 2/3 are women and children, have been killed. I mean, whether you want to call it genocide or not, that's still a significant number of people that
Right.
Hamas put the events in motion for it to happen. Okay, so in that context, in that context, I mean, the Palestinians, from my perspective, need new leadership. Period. And but they have to do
Yeah,
it.
but
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's my opinion. Anyhow.
okay, Mr. Canton, I'm from over there, and I know the news over there going since 1948.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, since 1948,
Yeah.
the place you go and look in the Bible, they will tell you Jesus Christ was born in Palestine, not in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Palestine. You look it up. I used to go 7 days Adventist school, and I've been reading the Bible, and I have a picture of the place, but it says Palestine. Now, if somebody come and thief your house, Mr. Canton, what are you going to do? You going to stand up there and watch them?
Right, but see, I'm not
Okay,
questioning
second
all
thing,
that.
second thing,
I right
second
there
thing.
with you. I right there with you on that.
Okay, Mr. Canton. No, Israel saying it's in war with the Palestinians, correct? Okay.
With the
Now, does
Palestinians
Palestinians
or
have
Hamas
the same kind of
or
weapons
Hamas.
that Israel has?
Wait.
No.
Are they at war with the Palestinians or Hamas?
They're saying Hamas, but they're
Oh,
killing
right,
everybody else.
yes.
Other than
No.
Hamas.
But it's important that you make that distinction because you see,
Yeah,
my
but
thing is,
remember, Mr. Canton, they killing little children and doctors and university workers, health aid, and they think it is Hamas.
they ain't thinking that.
When they blow up,
That they're saying that.
No. When they blow up the vehicle with the 7 employees for United Health work, they said they saw a Hamas guy with a brown bag.
Right, just like the ambulances the other
And
day.
that was the driver.
But
And he's a Palestinian taking them around.
Bakir, that's like the ambulances the other day. What I'm agreeing with you on something, that innocent people who
Yes,
don't fit the characterization as combatants in any way, shape, or form are being killed.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that thing with the ambulances. That thing with the ambulances is one of a series of things. I mean,
Right.
if it wasn't for that one person and there who had his cell phone going for the rest of the world to see this video, okay, it would have been the story that Israel told.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, I understand that,
It's true.
and this is why I'm coming down now to governments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the way the government is operating.
Which
Right,
government now you're talking about?
I'm talking-
Israel or the
I'm-
U.S.?
Is Israel, first of all,
Oh,
and
Israel. Okay.
the U.S. that's convoluting it. But in Israel, okay, because
Right.
my thing is, it's one thing to say you're lashing out because you've been treated bad, right? And I'm very simplifying, much simplifying when I say that. But all I'm saying is Hamas lashing out, okay, which was wrong, okay, has resulted now in 55,000 people, okay, two-thirds of them clearly innocent being killed, which is wrong, and two wrongs don't make a right. And this is the conundrum we're facing.
Okay, Canton, Mr. Canton, you know the Palestinians, why do they believe in Hamas?
Yeah, I understand. I understand the mentality.
They're thinking Hamas going to give them the freedom. But Hamas ain't doing that. They're making it worse for them.
Exactly.
You know, they're thinking Hamas is the only one who's fighting for us. Okay, go Hamas. Whatever you need. We will take this, take that. But Hamas killing them. Killing them.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And so how do we get out of, and this is, I'm not asking you to solve this here, but I'm just saying, our challenge is how to get out of this cycle. Because the Israeli government and Hamas are in a death battle that killing innocent people left and right.
Okay. Mr. Canton, now if you want to have peace in the Middle East, you know how you could do it? Give the Palestinians the freedom. You know, if one of them take a boat, a little wooden boat, and he went to catch his fish, you know they shoot the boat and make it sink? You know, a boat come to Palestine to give them first aid kit or whatnot. You know, to send it back.
Yeah, there's well, it's the same thing with now with the food situation here. I'm not disagreeing with you. Well, you see, we have an audience here, and if we were to recount everything that everyone did that's wrong, we'd be here all day recounting that. And I don't want to stay recounting. I want it to stop. I want it to stop. That's
have two states.
Right. Yeah. Well, the two-state thing, however, I want it to stop because
this way the Palestinians will have their own right to do whatever they want, and if they interfere with Israel, Israel have the right to do what they want to do.
Well, let me say something that's extreme here, right? Okay.
Okay.
You know, I saw the video footage of what looked like a 80-year-old woman with a 5-year-old child in her hand, and holding a hand, and a stick with a white flag on it, trying to cross the road. Okay.
Right.
And you hear the bullet ring out, and she fall down dead, and the child goes scampering, whatever. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I serve in the military. Okay, there's a thing called the Geneva Convention, and it's one of the things is that when somebody have up a white flag like that, okay, you cannot shoot them.
Right.
Okay, but they were doing that. Then you have the little girl Hind was in a car with non-combatants, and they shoot up the car and shoot up the car and shoot up the car till they make sure that everybody in that car was dead.
Was dead, right?
Right? Okay. You know, then you had the situation, and this is the one that really didn't get exposed. You had 3 Israelis who escaped, had up a white flag,
with flag
and everything, and going to the Israeli army for help, and they shoot them dead, right? Only to their heart, right? Well, these things to me, say that the people who are shooting have a mentality that the best Palestinian is a dead Palestinian.
Not dead Palestinian.
No, follow me.
Dark-skinned people.
No. Care, you want to go there, I'm talking for me. It ain't got to do with dark skin or light skin. Bullets don't pick dark or light skin.
Right.
The person have up a flag. Okay? And under the Geneva Convention, you could take them into custody, interrogate them, all this other good stuff.
Right,
but you can't summarily shoot them dead.
Right, right. It's true. It's true.
Okay, so
It's protection.
that is my point. So now I see a parallel to this in America. What happened to unarmed black men in America?
Same thing.
Okay, and so when you look at who is expressing outrage and who is not, you start seeing patterns here. Okay, so when you have the president of the United States use the word Palestinian as a slur, then that's why I said to me, this is a world and a thinking, a mentality where they look at Palestinians as the best being dead. Now, this plays into the whole thing of taking over property and everything else, because right now they're looking for a way, it seems, to, you heard Donald Trump talk about it, turn it into the Riviera of the so-called Middle Eastern Africa, whatever the case may be, to take the property. Okay, so that's always been a part of it. All you gotta do is look at the settlers and the improvements, settlements, and all this other stuff. But anyhow, I'm gonna have to move on in a minute here.
Okay, hold on. Let me tell you something.
But,
Israel have a thing in their books that when a Palestinian leaves Israel or Palestine, he can't come back. So that's why they're trying to kill all of them, to send them to Egypt so they could tell them you can't come back. That's what they're doing. Because that's in their books.
But I understand.
You cannot come back.
I understand about the can't come back thing, number one, and I understand that the overall goal is, whether it's by killing or forcing them out, the overall goal. So you're going into the individual things. I just saying what the overall goal is.
Right.
Okay, because one time, once you had a country established and supposedly they were happy and everything was going to be hunky-dory, but how much is enough? And the bottom line is, what they're saying is, until we have it all, we don't have enough. Okay, so anyhow, enough on that for now. How is the weather in Texas these days?
The weather is just like how you change your clothes. You change your clothes today, nice and warm and cool. In the night, you need jacket, you need hoodie, you need gloves. It's 50s.
Okay.
The 50s. That's the thing with here, Texas. Everybody now walking with flu. They're wondering why. 1 minute, oh man, you're wearing your tank top and you're walking out in your flip-flop.
Yeah.
But my son, when that thing gets to like 6 o'clock in the evening, boy, you have to run for clothes. But everything else otherwise, health-wise, is good. Everything is okay. The prices are going up.
Oh, well.
And everything else, here in Texas, the Republicans even worse than Donald Trump.
Well,
Tom Cruise and what's his name, the governor. Oh, God, them people,
Ted Cruz. Yeah, well, brother, I'm going to tell you, you might call it Republicans, but I going to tell you is the system, because Republicans were once Democrats and Democrats were once Republicans. Okay, so that's why I say I watch what you do. Okay, this is just like on our previous conversation. I don't confuse people with government. Okay, the government's policies are what they are and doing what it's doing. The government, all right, every time they ran people off the property and then and take the property, from the native Indians to the new freed slaves who bought property and established their tongues, and then they had big riot and run them out and take the property. And I mean, you see these things, but you see it in all places in the world. All we gotta do is study history. Understand that the reason why the aliens, I ain't talking about so-called illegals and whatever, I talking about the alien them that they talking about coming from space. Why we can't see them? Because they got down their cloaking device and say, you see that craziness going on down there? Don't let them know that we...
It's going to be worse.
Because they looking and seeing how we behaving down here and say no, we ain't want to get caught up in that.
What about Mr. Nisbet? You didn't call this morning?
Mr. Nibs.
No, not yet.
Nibs. Well, if he call and I get off, tell him I say good morning. I like to hear him all the time on the radio.
All right.
You guys take care and you guys doing a good job, man.
Thank you much. Okay.
All right,
Let the world know. Gerard,
Yo.
last night I've been around a couple cousins that maybe 10 of them. I make all 10 of them download Be My Eyes.
Oh, yeah?
When you see how we walk, God, all of them start to download Be My Eyes this time.
Okay.
Everybody.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Good thing. All right. Good talking with you.
All right,
All right. Take it. All right. Okay. And for the public's benefit, Gerard, will you take a minute and talk about Be My Eyes and what it does?
Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is an application that is downloadable on iOS and Android.
You and your technical stuff. Okay? You could get it on your cell phone. Just
Listen,
tell them.
I'm letting them know it can work on either Apple phones or Android phones.
Hey, you're the teacher.
Okay.
You go ahead.
So anyway, Be My Eyes is an application that you can volunteer. If you are a person that is sighted, you can volunteer to assist someone who is visually impaired to find things, even shop in the store. I mean, right now there's a glasses called Ray-Ban Meta that is that you can purchase as a blind person to connect to your phone, and it will connect to Be My Eyes, and as you walk through the store, the person on the other end of the phone can guide you through the store to pick up everything that you need as well. Be My Eyes can also have a AI camera, which is Be My AI. When you take a picture with that camera, it allows the AI to describe the entire scene that's in front of you. Like right now, if I take a picture with Be My AI, it would describe that where you're sitting. It would describe everything that's behind you, to the side of you, everything that's in front of me. It would give me a detailed description of the entire scene in front of me. Be My AI is a wonderful app, and it's free. It's a free application that's run by volunteers. Like if you're a blind person, you have a smartphone, say you drop something, you can't find it. You pick up your phone, you go to the Be My Eyes app, you say call a volunteer, the volunteer answers, you point the phone in the direction that you think you hear the thing drop, and they will assist you to find whatever it is you dropped on the floor. So it's a very good app for persons who are visually impaired.
Okay. Well, Gerard.
Yes, sir.
I can't tell you the gory details, okay? But I was talking with Mr. John the other day, and he might need Be My Eyes on his phone. Anyhow, with that, we're moving on. Anyhow. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the community, folks. Yes, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the community. All right. We do this community calendar thing, and we're looking to expand it in certain ways, but we'll work with what we have for now. I see that the Central Caribs class of 1995. Oh, we got it at the top of the hour.
Yeah,
top of the hour. Okay, yeah. So okay, let's do a top of the hour thing here because the conversation was so captivating. Okay, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the Central Caribs class of 1995. Caribbean Community Theater, what's going on with those folks, family reunions, scholarship monies out there, wellness walk, all kind of stuff. But in the meantime, in between time, let's big up these people who make it possible for WSTX to be here and do what we do. You right?
News Talk for the Virgin Islands, AM 970 WSTX.
Hey St. Croix, you hungry? Then don't miss the big food sale happening Saturday, June 14th at the Vegetable Market in Christiansted. For just $15, get a full Crucian breakfast plate, boiled eggs, starfish or herring, chop, fritters, cucumber salad, and a fresh baked bread. Plus, you get a complimentary cup of bush tea. And if you're still thirsty, we've got refreshing juice for just $5. All made fresh, just how you like it. Come early, come hungry, and come out and support the Arch Institute Youths going to Ghana. See you there!
Are you looking for the best Mediterranean food on St. Croix? Check out Flavor Fusion, the yellow and red shack by the Thai Village gas station. Come sit me or call and pick up your order. Open from Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Call 340-727-3900 to make your order. Flavor Fusion, giving you the best fusion of flavor in the Virgin Islands.
St. Croix, get ready to taste the flavor of the Virgin Island at the 3rd Annual Pate Festival, Sunday, June 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Agriculture Fairground. The best pate makers in the world will come together to serve the most delicious beef, chicken, saltfish, veggie, and more. If it fits in a pate, trust me, it's gonna be there. So come hungry and leave full. Bringing the culture, rhythm, and energy will be Boot Legacy, The Brad, DJ Felix, and MC Bogle with live performances by Controversy, Hojo Bass Cover, No Problemo, and the 10 Sleepless Nights. Thanks to our sponsor, VI Department of Tourism, Blue Mountain Water, IP Design, Food Town, CC1, Plaza Extra East, Hooked on Life Charter, Island Time Charter, the Department of Agriculture, WSTX Radio, AM 970, FM 100.3, Neighborhood Pharmacy, Twin City Dental, Crucian Gold, and One Communications USVI. It's the most delicious event of the summer, the 3rd Annual Pate Festival.
AM 970 WSTX, Christiansted, Frederickstead, and the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, folks.
We are back.
Definitely. And front and left, center, up and down. But we're back.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Left, right, center. Left, right, center, and everything.
We're back.
No, his thing is I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yes. Okay. So we have to keep our day job though. We ain't gonna get hired as stunt doubles. Yes. So the Central Caribs class of 1995 is doing a raffle fundraiser. Okay, and that raffle fundraiser drawing is going to be June 13th at 7 p.m. and the prize for $30 tickets, when you think about this, the prize for $30 tickets is 2 round-trip airfare from St. Croix to anywhere Cape Air travels. Okay? So now, you know Cape Air is up in Boston, right? I'm just saying, so if you're there in Boston, it's like, hey, you could go anywhere Cape Air flies. And I just read in the writing, unless anyhow, anywhere Cape Air travels, it doesn't say Cape Air in the Virgin Islands or the Caribbean, so anyhow, interesting. So folks,
I never knew that.
if you know, I just, it's something I observe. Some of these airlines like Seaborn, you got to look at where they are nationally, and they just saw a market and spread off down here. But yeah, I see Cape Air planes up there. Anyhow, they have this raffle for the class of 1995 for Central Caribs, and for $30 you can win a prize that is a 2 round-trip airfare from St. Croix to anywhere Cape Air travels. Okay. Drawing is on June 13th at 7 p.m. folks. All right. So I don't see a contact information here if you're looking for a ticket, but I guess that the folks at Central High class of 1995. We'll be putting that information out there. Now, Caribbean Community Theater just had their 40th anniversary show the other day, and it was very nice. For those of us who have seen many of their shows, we could see that this show was really where they took scenes from different shows and put them in, and they put it quite well together. They have one piece in there. He had it coming. He had it coming. Anyhow, if you were there, you will smile and laugh. It was a good presentation. He had it coming. All right. If you missed it, I'm just telling you, you missed a fantastic show. All right. But it don't end there. They have a show coming up, Anna in the Tropics. Yes, Anna in the Tropics. All right. Which Anna this be? Okay. I can't tell you that, but it's Anna in the Tropics. And that's going to be starting on the 13th and 14th, which is the Friday and Saturday shows. And then they have the shows also on the 20th and the 21st. And they're going to have Sunday matinees on the 15th and the 25th. Okay? 15th and 22nd, forgive me, 15th and the 22nd. So you have the 8 o'clock shows, 8 p.m. shows on the 13th and 14th, and then on the 15th you have the Sunday matinee. And then the following weekend, the 20th and the 21st, you have the 8 p.m. shows, and then you have the matinee on the 22nd. Good thing. So, Anna in the Tropics, folks, don't miss it. You want to laugh? I'm going to give you some advice if I'm in a position to do so. Make sure you band your belly before you go, because you're going to laugh so much your muscles going to get sore. All right? Okay, good thing. So, we've got Anna in the Tropics at Caribbean Community Theater. All right. Now, the Thompson family reunion is on track for July 9th through July 14th, 2025. All right. So keep that in mind, folks, because you are invited to attend this Thompson family reunion, a Crucial Fusion in 2025, and it's going to be held here on St. Croix, folks. Definitely. You're going to have all kind of fun stuff, meet and greets, fun days, family discovery genealogy workshop, a madras, dinner ball, family beach day, a whole bunch of stuff going to be going on. So, look at your genealogy, and if you see the name Thompson, there's somewhere in that thread, hey, you got every right and every invitation to be a part of this family reunion. All right. Good thing. Oh, yes. We have the Wellness Walk coming up on the 31st of May, 2 p.m. on that's a Saturday, 31st of Saturday, and it's going to be, hear me, 31st of May, we in June, I can catch. Oh, anyhow, but really, what I wanted to say was this poster, Department of Health, I am protesting. It's a wellness walk that you all had to connect, talk, and laugh, right? But I only see ladies connecting, talking, and laughing. Where the guys then? I hope they were there. All right. Anyhow, nobody wants bills, right? But bills coming nonetheless. Well, I see that the Office of the Lieutenant Governor has put out there from the Division of Real Property Tax that, hey, property tax bills are due June 30th. Now, have you gotten yours in the mail? I haven't gotten mine yet. But you don't have to wait for it. You can go to the Lieutenant Governor's office and get a copy of your property tax bill and go right there to the cashier window and take care of it right away. The bills don't become delinquent until after August 30th. So you've got time. But the bills become due, as of the the 30th of June. All right, good thing. If you want more information or need assistance with anything like discrepancies on your property tax bills or anything else related to property tax bills, then you can call the office of the tax collector at 340-774-2991. That's a St. Thomas number. And here on St. Croix, 340-773-6449. Office of the tax collector. Yep. Yeah. You know that old saying, Gerard, certain things being certain, death and taxes. Some things you could count on, death and taxes. Anyhow, I see you deep into what you're doing. Good. Anyhow, UVI Cell. UVI Cell have various courses from time to time. And I see that they have a course here called Professional Grant Writing. Okay, this course is designed to provide you with the skills to become a professional grant writer while also preparing you for the Grant Professional Certified GPC exam. Right? It's not free, but you need to inquire as to the cost and whether or not it is something that is covered by some program that you're in at the school or not. All right? Professional grant writing, folks. There's money out there. If you don't ask, you can't get. And hey,
they will sign up.
Okay, I noted here that at levels here in Christian Study, they got the community art paint going on today from 7 p.m. to midnight. All right, so folks, you want to have a laid-back Thursday and dabble with some paint and maybe come up with a masterpiece. Hey, community art paint at levels. All right. I saw this guy, Johnny Damon. We need to invite him back here. Okay? We need to invite him back here. He does what we don't call magic. You know, sleight of hand, illusion stuff. It's great. It's entertaining. I need to invite him back here to the studio again, especially now with the advances we have with the streaming and everything else. We need to invite him back. Okay, but he's going to be doing a stage show Saturday, this coming Saturday the 7th at Lost Dog Pub. Okay, just want to share. In the west side, that's right. Now, this year moving fast. Folks, the Women's Coalition are always at it. Not at it again. They're always at it. They always got something going on. You talk about the war and violence, okay? They're always at it. But in particular, the 41st annual women's race is coming up on the 8th. The 8th, yes, this weekend. All right? All right. Good thing. So, make sure you come down to Frederickstead to be there and cheer these folks on. All right? Yeah. So, the time is 5 p.m. It's in the afternoon on Sunday, June 8th. All right? Now, this is a women race. However, last year, it was the 40th anniversary, and every 10-year race, guys get to run along with the women. Okay? But we're up to 41 now, so it's women only, folks. Yeah. But guys, you got to come out there and cheer. You got to come out there. I don't care. You go and put on your tutu and everything else and cheer. Okay?
You're wrong.
Are you right?
Yes, you're wrong.
And pom-poms, tutus and pom-poms, man.
They hold women's race, right?
Uh-huh.
Why they don't hold a man's race?
Well, no.
Man, they get blows from the woman too.
You ain't here every 10 years we don't get a chance?
They need to hold the women's race one month. So the man raised another month.
Another month. Okay. I gonna let them know that
They're
protest.
They're being biased.
I gonna let them know that you registered a protest. Okay. All right.
They're being biased.
But you know, we do have an organization here called Men's Coalition.
That's a joke.
Well, you might call it that. I have no idea what it is they do or if they do anything, but there is such an organization. Okay?
That's what, if you beat your woman, they teach you not to be a batterer.
Well, see, first of all,
If you getting beat, you ain't got nowhere to go.
right, but you see you? No.
What?
No. Okay.
I do my research before
You see
I
you?
open my mouth.
You see you. Okay.
Yeah, what happened to me?
I want. What if you'd beat up your host? I could go to Men's Coalition. Can you over there with that kid always threatening me?
Send me there.
Okay, but anyhow, yeah, I hear you. Well, you know, the Women's Coalition is a great concept. I always think of the People's Coalition, and maybe one day we'll see an evolution where we have something called the People's Coalition, because really, we have to look at it holistically.
Yeah.
You got them guys out there, and you know, you're gonna go into court and get a what do you call it? Restraining order because she'd have beat me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying, Gerard, the real world that we live in is, hey, them man can't even go to the doctor and get a prostate check. You understand what I'm saying? Much less to go to court and admit.
Well, I hear a police in passing. I was someplace and this police was talking. He didn't call no name. But he was saying about how the guy is
Talk up.
the guy called police his wife for beating him. He said, oh, why was he? What? I said, but just say. So then I hushed my mouth at first, and then when he continued, I said, but you know something? I said, I don't mean to butt in your conversation. But then if the man had fling his hand in that woman, you would have been the first police to come and arrest him. He shut up.
Well,
I said, no, he called you. I was supposed to arrest the woman.
you see, it's a double standard. We know it's a double standard. And I would probably venture to think that judges today going to deal with it the real way. They're not going to fall into that trap. But police need training on these things, because police, especially the environment that we grow up in, that sometimes condones or says that somehow or the other there's something manly or whatever in the behavior, we still got those problems in our community. We still have those problems, and we've got to do everything we can, including sensitivity training and whatever other training, to make sure that we don't have folks in there behaving like that. What do you think happened in St. Thomas in that school with the molestation of that child in the school? Yeah. Okay? Yeah. All these people around had know what going on, Gerard. All these people had know what going on, and nobody was saying nothing. I shouldn't say nobody. The people who were saying nobody were listening. Okay? We have some serious issues. We've had issues with incest and all kind of things in our community. Yes. We have been touched too many times. Yep. And so we have to do what we have to do to make sure we root out that kind of thinking. But, you know, why should a man have to face stigma and ridicule over violence being perpetrated against them?
I don't know. If it was my woman and you hit me, I call him police for you. And I'm going to file charges too. And I treat you the same way you would have treated me if I did it.
Well.
What?
I'll leave it alone.
No,
you
the police here, no.
look, brother,
My charges.
Brother.
Going in front of court. The
brother.
Mhm.
Okay, you have to do what you have to do. Okay, because the bottom line. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. This, that, and the other.
I hear
And then you going down the road telling people, oh, I fell down the stairs.
No. We ain't hearing nothing. I don't get phone back.
All right,
Yeah.
good thing. No, but the bottom line is violence is violence is violence.
Yeah, violence is violence.
And the women's race is really symbolic of the fight against violence of all types in our community, and it's something that we should support. Everything willing, I plan to be there in support of the women in women's race. Yeah. Okay. So, the 14th of June is the 10 Sleepless Nights Anniversary Gala. Okay, that is on the calendar. On the 22nd of June is the Pate Festival. I don't know that I'm going to make that one. I mean, I'll be here. But anyhow, I see that Delegate Plaskett is having a function in St. Thomas, just as a matter of information. Hey, she does things on St. Croix too. But the reason why I mention it is because she has guests coming down from Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett,
Well, I need to go sit down.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman Valerie Fouché, Congresswoman Emilia Sykes, and Congresswoman Lucy McBath. Okay?
I need to go sit down just to shake that one lady hand.
Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah. She a girl.
That's your girl. All right.
She my
Okay.
girl.
So that's happening on the 28th of June. Okay. And all the way through Monday. So it's kind of like a retreat weekend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind getting to meet some of these folks. But I don't think that I don't know that I'm going to be on island then, number one. And number two, I would need a sponsor. It's a little bit too rich for me. Okay? I'll watch Miss Crockett on YouTube. All of them for that matter. Okay? But just to let you know what's going on. All right? And UVI cell workshops, folks, you all need to check in with UVI cell, okay? Because there are lots of things that UVI cell does that you may be interested in participating in, right? For instance, micro and small business applications workshop for startups and small business owners, solo entrepreneurs, and it's open to entrepreneurs across industries: retail, food, beverage, health, wellness, tourism, trades, agriculture, and more. Right? These are things that are upcoming on the 12th in St. Thomas, on the 13th on St. Croix. Hey, we want you to be successful too. Everything that is to be successful don't have to come from outside, folks. We can grow from the inside out. All right, good thing. And of course, when you jump the broom into July, we have the July 3rd festivities. We have July 4th going on, but July 3rd in particular, we have things going on with Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights and the folk life things that they have going on there. And then down on the 29th, we have the Mango Melee. All right. Let me see. Mango Melee is what date? That's the 13th. And then on the 19th, we have Tartoirs at Bordeaux Park. Yeah. All right. So, folks, I hope you're marking up your calendars when we're talking about these things, okay? Especially those that are further down so that you can plan. One of the challenges that we face is an issue of just simple planning and using our PR. And I'm going to say this. You have your favorite basketball team or youth organization out there on the corner doing water sale. All right. I have some choice positive words for you. Okay? On behalf of those children's best interests, on behalf of the interests of the organization you represent, please notify WSTX. In particular, if you know how to get in touch with me or Gerard, let us know when you're going to be having your water sale. Now, imagine all those people who don't support single-use plastic. They're not going to take no water from you, but you know what? They'll give you the money. All right? So while you're out there fundraising, I'm sure you would agree that you don't turn away money. So if you let us know, for instance, we're here on a Thursday, and you're going to be out there Saturday, if we know 2 weeks before, that means that we're reminding people coming like drones just to give you their money. If you take one simple step and make sure that your event, in this case the water sale, is on the community calendar, on any station that has one. Now, let me just tell you the public, typical Saturday, okay? When I there on the road, gotcha. When I there on the road on Saturday morning going someplace, first of all, I don't walk with cash. As a general proposition, I don't walk with cash. All the rubber man them know don't even bother with dog. Okay? All right? I don't walk with cash. But if I know it have a water sale, I going out to support, I going to ride with my money and I going to open my window and get in the money and then drive off. Right? That's what I do. And a lot of other people do that. If you give them the chance to plan to support your youth organization. I remember them when them young people went to Jamaica, raised all the money and went to Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Okay? Anyhow, we got line one. Good day, WSTX.
Morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, messieurs.
I'm so glad you called.
Okay.
Okay? Because I done sit down with Jared and we figure out how we going to arrange to have this wellness check done. Okay? We even had people from down in Texas want to know what part of that was going on with you.
Yeah, we're going to drive over to see where they are.
Well, you see, what happened is there's a thing called jet lag. There's also a thing called car lag. Because if I have to go 500 miles, up to 500 miles I drive, if it's over 500 I fly. And I've been doing a lot of that from Houston to Missouri to Arkansas to Atlanta to Louisiana and Mississippi, attending graduations of my grands and great-grands.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep missing a day. I keep saying today's Wednesday. So please forgive me.
All right.
Anyway, I launched something in attending graduations in Houston this time, particularly for two of my great-granddaughters, both going from the 4th to the 5th, or the 5th to the 6th, yes. And that is that they are allowed somehow to formulate in their mind what career field they want to go into. Now that them and those will say, oh, that's too young, guys. I mean, you're 12, you change your mind, you ain't want to go in that no more. And that is true. But what I saw really tells me that these children know where they want to go. I saw some young men, mostly black and Hispanic, that were receiving anywhere between 20 and 70 medals or trophies in sports from the time they were in the third grade up to now in the fifth grade. I mean, to me that speaks volumes. Of course, they either want to go into sports medicine or to be a football linebacker or to play baseball or basketball, you see. Now, the young ladies, for the most part, they are into the science and mathematics track, saying that they want to become doctors, nurses, engineers. And again, to me, that is all good. If they could, I mean, and the thing is this, though, in the public school system in these states, they have counselors that would guide them towards that track, so they don't lose sight of it and go play video game and forget what it is they're doing, you see. So I think it is good for us, because what I'm seeing coming out of this dog is all across the southern states, I am seeing more and more black stewards, stewardesses, first engineers, co-pilots, and pilots. Yes, when you see the crew coming down to win the plane, they're black like I and I. And when the plane lands, you see the crew coming out, the same thing. And to me, it's speaking volume. It shows me, and I'm sure you remember, back in the day, we had a white guy, in the Department of Education in the Virgin Islands, one Peter Goodwin, that used to, into the sports area, that used to guide not only the men, the boys, but the girls, ladies, into, and I mean, the amount of them that turn out to be, players in the college and universities and even go on to play pro ball. I mean, it was amazing, but like everything else, he died, so the program died. That doesn't make sense. Got a federal fund that's still there.
Yeah.
So, Doggy, I think you got to buck up and to get the federal fund.
Hey, and this is the thing. You hit on something there. The person dies and the program dies.
Yeah.
There's a concept called succession planning.
Thank you.
And we have been utterly poor in that. Now,
more than poor.
Well,
poor.
But let me just say this, right? Sometimes that's the plan, that the person moves on, they may not die, and the program dies. All you have to do is go back in time and see all of these people who ran for office that had youth groups. And they use and write that youth group into office, and after that, the youth group done.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. All right.
So it was self-serving.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of that in government.
Yeah.
Let me close by saying that I lost my train of thought. Let me see, blah, 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 blah. It will come back to me. But
it'll come back.
Yes, we have to be, if we claim, and I'm talking about these aspirants and those who want to continue to be in office for 60, 70 years, if you claim that the children are our future, well then you get your tail out of the way, groom them and put them in and you get out, go sit down.
Okay.
But not want to be there forever.
Well, let me say this to you, right? I think maybe because you thought it was Wednesday, you missed the earlier part of the show.
Yeah, I wasn't listening at all.
You wasn't listening. All right. I want to, because it's going to be on Facebook and it's going to be on YouTube. I want you to go and look at the beginning when we were talking about this thing with the raises.
Yes.
Okay, and some other things, but there are parallels that I drew, and I want to reiterate before we head out of here today, which is that the legislature does things, okay, and then gets all bent out of shape when the things it does creates a problem. Okay? And they do it in a way that they rile up the public to get them worked up.
Yeah.
So in this case now, the governor who doesn't have any control over the raise giving process, right? He didn't create it. You created it to address that very situation.
But it was created with his help, you know. I know that for a fact.
No, wait. You always have help because senators and governors don't live in separate walls and no communication.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I am not naive.
Right,
Okay? I'm not naive. But I am saying that ultimately the buck stops with the legislature to craft a piece of legislation that does not result in the problems that they ran into here and now.
But
okay?
aren't they the lawmakers?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We you know, you're just making now. I understand. That's what we're saying in that context. But they got the way they got the public riled up. It's like the governor went and do this thing.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying to folks is you don't have to like or dislike the governor to have common sense about where the problem really started.
Right.
Okay.
But you see, Doggy, I mean, you is a politician as I am, but we are different politicians, I would say, because we look out for what is best for the people and not ourselves.
I have been rehabilitated, okay, for your information.
Yeah, he got a cane in front of him.
Yeah, the thing is this, Doggy, the sitting senators knowing very well that Governor Bryan can run again, and they crafting to get back in. Who else they gonna blame it on but he?
Yeah.
You see me?
No, I understand. All of that is part of the game. All that is part of the game. You see, yeah. There's this thing about fighting for my people. People like folks that make noise and carry on like they mean this and they mean that. Even though nothing of substance is delivered, there's something in our community where they like that. They don't look further and beyond and say, well, what did you actually accomplish? Okay? We just like you. So if you ain't accomplished nothing, don't worry about it, man. We like you.
Right, yeah, but I'm going to go back and look at the whole show. But let me finish by saying this, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
You, in a sense, what Governor Bryan is telling them, this is how I see it as a politician, that I don't care what I say, meaning the very whole populace. I going to go out a yacht with a higher salary of $42,000 added to what I get it for doing nothing. Because I want to feather my nest, and I know that I leave no legacy. I know that I leave no hospitals, no schools, and 1,000 people without roof going into an 8 hurricane season. So I will take that. To me, that's what he's telling me.
Well,
I ain't gonna make no excuse for this, man. I mean, I tell him straight up. He and I, when we meet, we talk like man. Hey.
No, I understand, and
yeah.
it's been my
that's
experience that whatever side, yeah, okay. All right.
I fetched my rap, so now I got.
Okay, all right, good thing, take care. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care.
All right.
Yeah. Now, before we go to, there's something I wanted to throw out. Okay. Do you know what ex post facto law is?
No.
Okay. When something is done that's legal, okay, when you make a law that makes it illegal, it's not retroactive back to when the law was executed before. You follow what I'm saying? Okay. So, and I don't know that the governor would pursue something like this or whether it's even applicable in this situation. But you see, usually in labor law, you can promote someone and then laterally transfer them into a lesser paying situation.
What they do there already?
Brother,
When they take away people 8%?
no, but that was rectified. What I'm saying, it was illegal. It was dealt with. See, there's a thing. When you say something like that, it's a distraction from the point. The point is that you cannot promote somebody to a higher paying job and then laterally transfer them or demote them into a lesser paying job. You can't take away benefits. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curious as to what the legal argument and may or may not be, and the prospects for it being successful or unsuccessful. Because you see, the legislature passed a law. The commission acted legally under the law. And to now pass a law, in essence, by repealing, pulling back, whatever, is the legislature in fact taking away a benefit that was already given. We'll see. My thing is, I'm not here as an advocate for anyone. I just don't like this thing of people getting riled up. And it's like you put herring in the hound dog nose. The dog running up and down looking for a scent. Can't catch a scent because the nose don't kill because you put a herring in the nose. Okay. Anyhow, your turn.
Right, all I was going to do, being that you have limited time, I was going to remind the public about the ICANN Connect program, which is known as the Deaf Blind Equipment Distribution Program. That is paid for by the FCC, which is Federal Communications Commission. Is known as the ICANN Connect program. To find out more about the ICANN Connect program, you can visit icanconnect.org or call 340-692-4267 to find out if you qualify. To qualify for this program, you have to have considerable hearing and vision loss. And at BIU said we also have what we call the DME closet, which is a durable medical equipment closet, which is if you just come out of the hospital or you just had an accident, you need to have a durable medical equipment like a wheelchair, cane, or walker. We have equipment there that we can loan you. Just give us a call at 340-692-4267. Come by and see which one you need, and we'll lend it to you for a period of time. We also take donations of durable medical equipment, but they have to be in good condition, because just as we like to give you new stuff with dignity, we want to transfer the same to everyone. So if you have equipment that are good, like almost like brand new, we can take it, sanitize it, and it'll be through the door to someone who can use it for a period of time.
All right, Joe. And Gerard, you've been talking about that, and folks are listening, because I was at a function the other day, and I was approached by someone because they have a chair that does not serve their needs, a medical mobility chair.
Okay.
And so we have to get in touch with them. I got the phone number, and we're going to get in touch with them and see if they still have it and if they're interested in donating it to VIU said, as was indicated. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Good thing, folks. We really applaud you in the community that take this type of step. It might be something like a hospital bed, and the loved one who needed it no longer does. Don't send it to the dump. I mean, the kind of things I see going into the dump sometimes, Gerard, We don't just throw it for the sake of throw it. We really need a big place that we could put these things and people could go in and go through and see, like a big open warehouse so people could see these things and repurpose them. And I say that, hey, take care is always better than don't care. Okay? I want to say to everyone, and I have to repeat this comment in the future. If you have copies of some of these old ads, like the take care is better than don't care with Auntie Janice and them involved and so forth and so on, or any other video ads or whatever, we respect whatever rights people have in them and so forth and so on. We'd like to get our hands on those things and see how we could incorporate them in our show. Just part of a flashback in time, and also in terms of messages that are still applicable and beneficial to the community today. So, if you're one of those people out there that got some of them videos there archived someplace, and we start pulling them out then. Okay? All right. The old and the new. Yes.
Okay, Doc.
Folks, remember now, do your
random act of kindness.
All right. See, I got
but
you in
be
training.
like me and do a random act.
Just when I thought I was making progress, okay? Just when I thought I was making progress, I had gotten Jared to see the light. Folks, kindness is key.
I can't see no light.
Okay? I don't mean I can't talk to or see in the light.
I would love to see the light.
Random act of kindness, folks, okay? And if you're feeling kind of bored, got time on your hands, do some premeditated acts of kindness, okay? You won't be called on the carpet by Donald Trump or the VI legislature. It'll be welcomed. All right. Until next time.
Mark the X. This is AM 970 WSTX.
Hey St. Croix, you hungry? Then don't miss the big food sale happening Saturday, June 14th at the Vegetable Market in Christiansted. For just $15, get a full Crucian breakfast plate, boiled eggs, starfish or herring, chop, fritters, cucumber salad, and a fresh baked bread. Plus, you get a complimentary cup of bush tea. And if you're still thirsty, we've got refreshing juice for just $5. All made fresh, just how you like it. Come early, come hungry, and come out and support the Arch Institute youths going to Ghana. See you there.
When it's time for bug eliminating, Oliver exterminating. When island pests become unwanted guests, you need number one, the island's best.
After 30 years of business, Oliver Exterminating knows how to get rid of your bugs. Guaranteed. In St. Croix or St. Thomas, Oliver Exterminating.
They have less than in pest control. Oliver Exterminating's the best to get rid of bugs and all of your pests.
Attention St. Croix, Alma's Natural Products has a new home inside the Frederickstead Mall. Visit us at 3B on the right-hand side just as you walk in. Enjoy the same great products you love, now in a better location with air conditioning. Experience Alma's touch of African products, including clothing, bags, handmade hats, body oils, essential oils, raw shea and cocoa butter, natural toothpaste and deodorant, incense sticks, black soap, vegetable-based soaps, spices, cocoa sticks, bulk herbs, and sea moss. Stop in for a cold drink and cool off while browsing Alma's Natural Products. Leave with a bag full of healthy goodness for the whole family. Hours and phone number remain the same. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sundays, 12 noon to 5 p.m. Closed on Saturdays. Call us at 340-332-3557. That's 340-332-3557. Come visit Alma's Natural Products' new location at 3B in the Frederickstead Mall.
Hey St. Croix, you hungry? Then don't miss the big food sale happening Saturday, June 14th at the Vegetable Market in Christiansted. For just $15, get a full Crucian breakfast plate, boiled eggs, starfish or herring, chop, fritters, cucumber salad, and a fresh baked bread. Plus, you get a complimentary cup of Bush tea. And if you're still thirsty, we've got refreshing juice for just $5. All made fresh, just how you like it. Come early, come hungry, and come out and support the Arch Institute Youths going to Ghana. See you there.
AM 970 WSTX and more continuous music variety.
Watch now.